we're gonna play a bit more Yume Nikki. I guess one more episode's worth. This is another area from the... Oh, I think this leads to the train? Oh, I love these eyes that watch you. The way they just have like 3 frames. Look at that. It's like so obvious that they're watching you. They're not even trying to hide it. I think this might be one where if we go back... no, let's just plunge ahead. Oh! Can I go back? Oh no, we were just here before! Oh no! Ah, darn. Alright, well, I feel like there's some more content. But let's, is there more content here? This thing was blocking us this way. The big lump of something. Alright. You know, so I was really in the mood to play this right now. I couldn't tell you why. And I also don't know how much I'm going to prioritize returning to it necessarily over other things. Although I really would like to at some point. Oh, look at this guy! He's missing the middle. Oh, that's so cool. It makes you think that, like, the people that put this together, like the dream architects or whatever, like, didn't really even understand the symbolic value of what they were doing. Like, that it's more just kind of totally arbitrary experimentation. We never saw that before. I guess we haven't explored this area totally anyways. Oh yeah, so I was gonna say, my worry is that, you know, I stopped playing it tonight, and then that's like the last I ever actually played the game on the channel. Should be too bad. But if that's the case, then there's a few areas that I know pretty well how to get to that I'd like to show you. Kind of famous areas in the game, some of my particular favorites. At least I think I can remember how to get there. Right now I can't even figure out how to leave this area. Maybe it's just faster to wake up. I guess we'll do that. Head right back to bed. I don't think I got any effects. So, you've seen me, whenever we wake up and we're here, it's like, oh, we might as well try this. No good. So there's a very rare event that actually leads you to some really fantastic content, where you go to bed in a bed while you're already in bed, while you're already sleeping. I think it's this door. So we're gonna go to the... oh, no. We're gonna go to the most famous area in this whole game. And if you know anything about this game, it's probably about this. Ah, yes. It's this innocuous little snow area. It's got kind of a similar rain effect with the snow, and a similar tree to the rainy area. But it looks very peaceful. The music's really nice. Here we see a nice version of the ladies that are always trying to kill us. She's totally ignoring us. But you can go into this. Oh, it's not... okay, never mind. I guess there's a few igloos. Looking for another one. Oh, this is an effect. Good. The Yuki Onna. This, I think, makes it snow. So we have double snow right now, possibly, but we wouldn't really be able to tell. I think she actually moves a little slower than regular Marotsuki. Alright, so this takes us to the one of the more famous areas in the game. Oh, that sound effect! What's going on? And it's this kind of like crazy pastel world that I think is just so enthralling. And it's sort of like, when you think of like visual overload or visual overstimulation, you would think something more like that neon world before, right? Like flashing rainbow colors going through an entire spectrum of something. But I feel like this is kind of like teaching you that this is also a form of visual overload. This is also something that could happen when you're kind of reaching the limits of your visual sensory perception. Do you kind of know what I mean? Like, have you ever had the experience where you stand up too quickly and your vision goes like suddenly hazy and white? I feel like this is somehow closer to that kind of experience. So you touch this balloon, and then we're out in the water. We go a little slower. We'll get off the bike so you can really appreciate it. Oh, isn't that great? Alright, let's get back on the bike. It's pretty slow. Bike is slow enough. And I'm not entirely sure where we're looking to go here. But it's a finite area. We'll find it eventually. Could it be here? Wait, we can't get through there. Okay. So we're looking for a landform, but I think it's like an island. So I'm not sure if kind of following this coastline here is good or not. But it's an idea at least. So I'm a little conflicted about when we actually get to where we're going. That's the balloon we warped out with, right? So I think the balloon that we warped to is somewhere close to here. So maybe let's try going more this way. I think before we went quite a bit further up. Oh, okay, so this balloon I don't think is the balloon. This I think will take us somewhere else. Yeah, here we go. Yeah. This looks a little foreboding, right? Like I'm getting chills again. And it's interesting because I know where it actually leads, and yet I think the response I'm having on a physiological level, where all my hand is getting, all my hair is standing up and I'm getting goosebumps on my arms, is totally just in reaction to the immediate aesthetics that I'm seeing now, and not my anticipation of what's to come. Because what's to come is just this room. Let's get off the bike. Say hello to our friend. She doesn't want anything to do with us, that's fine. She's got a lot of the same stuff as our room, but kind of cuter, I'd say. A little more simplistic. It's got that cute mouse poster. We can't get in her bed, so no opportunity for double dream here. Let's hit the lights. Of course. This I think is super cool. It kind of reminds me of Foreside and Earthbound. Does one of the books disappear when you turn the lights off? Am I crazy? No, that space was already there. So I think probably a lot of you know about this, but for the few that don't, I don't really want to spoil what happens here, but at the same time, it's a random event that's like very unlikely. Oh, the mouse poster gets a little spooky when you do that. It's a random event that's very unlikely, and I don't feel like grinding for it. I don't feel like actually doing it hundreds of times. We'll do it for a little bit here. Let's see if we get it. And honestly, I kind of think this is one that I'm sure YouTube kind of reaction channels love. Because it is quite shocking what happens, I'll tell you that much. But I think it's a lot better to do it yourself. To just, even if it's the only thing you do in the game, to really get the experience of this, its most famous and mimetic element. I think the experience of doing it yourself, kind of getting into this hypnotic loop, going in, flicking the switch, leaving, the whole time a little in suspense, knowing that any given one could make it happen, but feeling pretty sure that any given one won't make it happen, because I believe it's 1 in 256. Yeah, we might give up soon. Oh. Ooh. We'll go a little more. Do you kind of get the appeal? Do you see why something like this would be appealing? Think of like old school RuneScape. Grinding away at something that has a very rare drop chance. This is kind of like a nightmare world version of that. This is kind of like the version of that you would do in a very distressing dream, where there's no consolation prize and there's no drop table, and the experience that you're gonna get, you're not really sure if you even really want to have. You don't know if it's dopamine that's gonna come flooding out if it happens. And you do have to go out and reload it. You can't just keep flicking the switch, which I think adds a lot to it. Oh, it's so good. Maybe you start doing a few things for luck. Like maybe you're like, oh, it's better if you leave the light on. Makes it more likely to happen. You let yourself fall into these sort of superstitions, because the human mind is very hard at avoiding them. And it's like, why not? It's kind of fun. Even though you know, rationally, that it makes no difference. We'll give it another minute. And if it hasn't happened, then we'll have to give up. And I don't see myself ever having like a special episode where I go back and try to trigger this, because it's not necessary to beat the game. This game does have an ending. I don't know if that's kind of spoilers, but you're trying to get all 24 effects. 24 Effects is also the name of a really fantastic remix album of this soundtrack. It's, in all honesty, one of my favorite albums of all time, I think. Has just an... Oh, we got it. Oh, we got it. We got it. So I don't think I can leave, but I don't really even want to try, because we can leave and then we don't get to see what else happens. I like, just the design of everything is so good. The stars turn into eyes, the floors turn into eyes, the cupboard has eyes, the cute little mouse. Ooh! I thought I could go around him. I thought I had to talk to him to warp. And now we're in here, deep into the monochrome world again. So this game, of course, is just flooded with people interpreting the various events and trying to work out what they represent in Madotsuki's life. And to a large extent, this is totally a futile thing. Like, it's all just going to be your extrapolation, and I like to think that a lot of this stuff is very, very personal for Kikiyama. That the sort of choices they made, we could never hope to understand, because they just reflect their own life and their own anxieties and their own nightmares. But the level that I like to think about is kind of why certain things have certain connections. So the fact that you can go to a room, and people have speculated that that blonde girl is like a friend of hers IRL, or a girl that bullies her IRL, a girl that pretends to be friendly and then turns into a bully. Personally, I've thought things like maybe this is supposed to be her idealized self, this kind of more well-adjusted girl, perhaps, that has beautiful blonde hair, maybe, and a cute room, and this like lovely kind of melodic music playing. And it's not so much that I'm actually that wedded to that theory or that interested in that theory, but something about the fact that you go from that room to this most nightmarish place that overlaps with, you know, all of the other kind of really deep, dark, super creepy areas of the dream. The fact that those two are so directly linked, but only through this very rare event, which I feel very lucky that we got so quickly. I hope I didn't rob you of the experience of doing it yourself. Oh, you can sit down, by the way, if you don't have any effects equipped. I also really like the fact that there's totally two-dimensional areas. We can only go back and forth here. Anyways, there is no escape from this, the Uboa dimension. This, of course, being the famous Uboa that is far and away the most like mimetic and longest lived aspect of this game in kind of pop culture. Oh, I'm glad we got to see it. We'll take like one more plunge back in there. I guess we'll save because we got one effect from all of that. And I think now that we've done that, we can't do it again. I think if I go back to that area, no matter how many times I loop through the room, it will never spawn Uboa again. Darn. We were lucky to get the other TV thing too. I think that's quite rare. So let's see. What other areas would I like to try to get to? I'd like to go to the train area, but I can't quite remember how to get there. I would like to go to... I think there's something in the numbers area. But you might need the knife. I think you kind of... I feel like you kind of need the knife, but we can check this area out a little bit. I vaguely remember where to get the knife, but the knife is one that has always... Oh, let's go in here. Maybe this will be someplace cool. The knife always freaks me out. So the knife just lets you stab NPCs. And most of them will just make a dying sound and then disappear. It's very unpleasant. And sometimes they'll drop coins too, which you can spend in the vending machines. We can't turn these on, huh? The other area we could turn them on. But it is necessary to go through certain areas. And sometimes you really feel like you ought to just be stabbing everything, just in case something happens. So the game kind of turns you into a deranged murderer of cute little things. Oh, so we're still in here, huh? Interesting. So again, just thinking about the juxtaposition of like the numbers and these faces, and then the street lights. I don't know. It's, you can see why people are so tempted to have all of these extrapolated theories, and I hope I don't feel like I'm being dismissive of those when I say that that's not the important part for me. Because I really like the idea of sort of extrapolating lifestyles from small glimpses and such. More traditional JRPGs, I think, are wonderful for this. Final Fantasy VII, or Final Fantasy VII and Final Fantasy IX being my two kind of favorites in this regard. But here it's like one more abstraction away. But I guess it's like, I would never want to just prescribe one... I don't know where we're going here. This feels like a dead end already. I would never want to prescribe just one reading or one meaning to say, oh, the lampposts represent the fact that after studying late into the night, she would have to walk home with all these, the deranged faces of her fellow cram school occupants at their desks, haunting her, and the numbers from her calculator floating around in her brain, blah, 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 blah. Sure, I like that, but to me it's like, it's even more primal than that. It's like even more It's something like I've never had that experience, of course. I've never gone to cram school, but I want to think of this in a way that it's like I can relate to that. I can relate to these at their purest abstracted aesthetics. It's like, yes, I've had this feeling. You know, what is this feeling? All right, that was strange. Let's keep looking around here. Ooh, are these numbers? Oh, it's one more digit. This one is one more digit than the 8-bit people can say to you. But this one, the 8-bit people could conceivably say to you. I like that there's another layer of the same map as the background. That's very cool. Oh, hello. Yes, yes, hello. Okay. 8. Lots of 8s. Ah, yes. This guy, I remember, you have to stab, and then you can get through that door. And I want to say there's something pretty cool in that door, but I can't remember at all what it is. Here we see, normally these guys have like an arm and a leg. And this is just an arm and a leg. This I think is new. Yes, I think... interesting. So... Is there an unoccupied bed we can get to? Oh, there's someone coming to cause trouble for us. If we let her. All the beds we can get to are occupied, so we can't go to bed at any of them. But that feels like very significant, so that it's like if we see an unoccupied bed we can get to, my instinct is that we will be able to get into it. Oh, oh. Nope, never mind. Tricked. Nothing. 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 And nothing. Okay. 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 I'm not gonna call this a bust yet. Oh! Oh! Oh boy, oh boy. Now, this one, they seem pretty aggressive. We gotta keep on the move here. But I think, yeah, that gives us the severed head. We'll play with that later, because they really do seem to want to chase us this time. Okay. Should we go back there some more? Maybe there's some more to see? I'll show you the severed head, though. It's quite spooky. It doesn't do anything. It just goes extremely slowly. I don't think there's any benefit to it. But yeah, I think this area would be legitimately hard, if not for the bicycle. So it's good we got that. Maybe I'll let them catch me so you can see. It feels like we're kind of... Yeah, we're just kind of in this area. I wonder if I'll have nightmares tonight. I'm playing this pretty late. Yeah, I feel like we've seen everything here. I don't think there's anywhere else it's going to take us. So let's just have one catch us. And then, yeah, see, we're just here now. So, you know, it's a little spooky. It's definitely kind of like a threatening aspect. But it's not like there's a big jump scare. It's not like there's a game over screen or something, you know? You just wake up. Alright, I think that's all I'll play for today. Let me know if you enjoyed that. Let me know if anything I'm saying is making sense. I'm kind of enjoying trying to work out what it is that makes this game so appealing to me, which is difficult. So again, my apologies if I'm not really making any sense. Let me know if there's parts of it that affected you. I think one of the coolest parts of this game is that everyone seems to kind of gravitate towards unique aspects of it. Of course, certain characters in certain settings have become kind of more mimetic and have really crossed over more than the game in general. Like Uboa that we saw was quite a meme for a while. But everyone has kind of their own personal favorites too. Let's play a little bit of Nasu, I guess. Let me know what your Nasu high score is. It's probably better than 20. Let's try one more time. Let's try one more time. I would love to make a game like this myself. Problem is that the biggest qualities of it are the graphics and the music. And those are the things that I am weakest at, for sure. Sometimes I have what I think are cool ideas for kind of aesthetics, settings, or aesthetic kind of mishmashes, things like that. Oh, I think the Nasu... Ooh, that's rare. Wow, wow, 300. That was a good lucky get. It makes me think that I still haven't even seen the outer edge of Nasu. This music, I'm pretty sure, is a remix of another track that plays somewhere else in the game. I think in the other 8-bit area it plays. The walking sound effect is so good. Like, I don't really know how Kikiyama put this in the game. This seems like a much harder usage of RPG Maker than anything else that we've seen. Oh, shoot. Alright, well, I give up. Yeah. This is Yume Nikki. I really love it, so I hope I'll get to play some more at some point in the future. Alright, bye-bye.